just ran a survey, one to marketers and one to consumers. And I asked them almost identical questions because I wanted to know one specific thing. How big is the gap between what we think consumers want and what they actually want? So today, I'm gonna walk you through 5 things marketers believe that consumers are basically begging us to stop doing. Some of us are gonna feel the sting on this one, so let's get into it. If you're new here, I'm Sarah. I'm a psychology-based creative strategist, and I help D2C brands improve their performance using psychology and behavior science. And today, I'm gonna run you through the study that I just did with a platform called Remesh. They are a platform that help you run conversational surveys, quant and qual, scale, IDIs, and recruit on demand with built-in AI analysis. These guys are fantastic. They reached out to me basically just to see how I would possibly use their platform to run a survey to get obviously more information about our consumers, what they want most, so that we can match our marketing efforts to what the consumers want. I surveyed marketers on one side, consumers on the other, exact same questions. I wanted to see the differences if we actually just asked people straight up, what do you think? What do you want? What do you believe? And specifically, what do you feel about the marketing that you're interacting with today? What came back was a little bit nerve-wracking because it really does show how disconnected we are from the people that we're actually trying to sell to. Myth number 1, consumers want us to be their warm, empathetic friend. Here's what marketers said when I asked them how they write content for their audience. The top answer that came back was really interesting. They have almost a split. Straightforward and factual came out pretty strong. Second to that, though, was warm and empathetic, like a therapist, a bestie, right? Somebody who just gets you. Now, here's what consumers said when I asked what style they actually want to hear from brands, which I found super fascinating. Warm and empathetic is not something that came out strong. Most of these consumers in here, there were over 250 people that answered this survey, said, just be straight with me, give me the facts. Be as concise as possible. A little entertaining, sure, but please stop trying to be my friend. I'm not even kidding. This was like the biggest gap in the entire study. We are pouring effort into being someone's confidant, and they're sitting here going, I don't need a confidant. I just need to know that your product works. Empathy in marketing isn't bad, and if you've seen any of my content anywhere on the internet, you know Sarah's a big empathetic marketer. I try really hard not to trigger people in a way that's going to cause any sort of harm or make them feel pain just to get them to buy something. But empathy and trying to be your friend are two totally different things. Real empathy sounds like, we know this is expensive, here's what it does, here's why we think it's the best, we really want what's best for you. Fake empathy kind of sounds like, hey bestie, we see you, you're so valid for wanting better skincare. One of those messages builds a lot of trust. The other one just kind of makes people want to close the tab and walk away. So if your brand voice has been kind of drifting towards therapist energy, this is your signal to dial it back. You can be warm, be human, but please be direct. Myth number 2, throwing shade at competitors works. This one genuinely surprised me because I think trash talking the competition has been like a core D2C tactic forever. You know these ads, the ones that are just like, unlike other brands who use XYZ or us versus them, or are you tired of like overpriced whatever? We have all written that copy. I have written that copy. But when I asked the marketers what turns customers off, putting down competitors wasn't really on their radar. And this is what I loved about this platform, because you can go through and take a look at all of the responses that came in. And then anybody who took the survey had the opportunity to either agree or disagree with other things that people were saying. I absolutely love this feature with Remesh, so spot on to those guys. It's amazing. The stuff that came up for marketers was interesting. So marketers think that when we make false promises or be rude to customers, this is kind of a turnoff. They mentioned a little bit of salesy language. They mentioned like jargon, buzzwords, but not exactly what the consumers mentioned. When I asked the consumers the exact same question, 65% agreed that putting down another company's products or brands completely turns them off. 65%. So here's what made this hit like real close to home for me. This is not one of those like, okay, some people feel this way, right? The platform I use lets these respondents vote on each other's answers so you can see kind of a real consensus forming in real time. And this one had a lot of consensus. People do not like it when you punch down at other brands. My hypothesis for why this is a thing is, and I'd love to test this further, it makes the brand look insecure. Like, confident brands don't need to tell you that the other guys are bad. They just tell you why they're good. So maybe we can all just retire the kind of like, unlike other brands, kind of a hook. Myth number 3, consumers can't tell the difference when we use AI. So this one's kind of uncomfortable for me. I asked marketers how often they use AI to rate content, and the answer kind of ranged a little bit if we look at this question of how often. Some said almost always as a part of the workflow. Some were saying, yeah, sometimes for like certain tasks, fine, like we all do it. But then I asked consumers, how often can you tell when a brand's content was written by AI? It was pretty similar, honestly. Almost always to sometimes. They can tell. They can absolutely tell. Here's the interesting part though. I also asked the marketers, how do you think your customers feel about AI-generated content? A lot of the time they said they're probably fine with it or maybe mildly bothered, but they didn't think that it was any worse than that. Then I asked the consumers how they actually feel, and it was not fine. A meaningful chunk of these people who answered this survey said it actually really does bother them. A bigger chunk, though, said that it reduces their trust in the brand. And some of them said it completely puts them off and they will not buy because of it. So in this situation, where marketers are using more AI, I think people assume that consumers won't notice or they won't care, but the consumers are noticing and they do care. I'm not saying don't use AI. I use it every single day, but maybe use it only for the back-end stuff, the research, the analysis, the admin tasks. Put the real human voice at the front of the content, at least until consumers kind of warm up to it, because right now they have not. Myth number 4, everyone researches products on social media now. This one broke my brain a little bit because this is how I typically research. If you asked me before this survey where consumers go first when researching a product, I would have said TikTok, maybe Instagram. I mean, definitely social media, especially for younger generations. Marketers definitely thought the same. So search engines were in the mix here. Big portion of marketers thought that search engines were going to be pretty big for researching products, and social media, TikTok, Instagram. Obviously, social media was right up there, right? Consumers, wow, drastic difference. 64% of the people that answered the survey said search engines is where they go first. Friends and family came second, and social media came third. Now, when I broke this down by generation, it got really, really interesting, and this is the lovely part about this particular platform, is you can break it down into different cohorts just to see how different generations are actually searching and using their time. Boomers, I mean, Google or asking family. No surprise, but no question on this. Like, they're pretty definitive. Gen X was different. Gen X was mostly Google. Millennials, though, they're not asking friends and family as much anymore. They're really just kind of searching on their own terms. Gen Z was really interesting, though. Just Google. So my new hypothesis here, and I think this is kind of a big one, consumers aren't researching products on social media. They're evaluating products on social media. And there's a big difference. Google is where they go first to figure out what exists, and then they hop on TikTok or Instagram to see if real people actually like it. So if you're putting all your eggs in the social first basket and kind of just ignoring SEO and Google search at the moment, you're missing the moment when people are actually deciding if this is worth their time. Myth number 5, we need more data to understand what consumers want. This is the one that's going to stay with me for a long time because I'm a big data head. I love data and I just want to dig deep into it all the time. But when I asked marketers what they wish they understood better about their customers, their answers were kind of all over the place. Lots of this, why do they buy? What do they actually want? What are they trying to achieve? It kind of read like, I don't know, we're guessing. We're just constantly guessing. We have no idea why people come in and buy things, which I find really interesting because in this time period, data is the one thing that marketers have so much of. We don't even need to go buy it anymore. We can absolutely just get it for free. When I asked the consumers this mirrored question, what do you wish brands understood about you? The answer is so clear. It's like painful for me because I don't think that this is something we're very sensitive to in marketing. 64% of this cluster said that they wished we understood the economy that they're living in. Essentially saying, I am tired. I cannot afford everything. Please stop hyping me on stuff I just can't buy. Just tell me the truth. No product is perfect, so please talk to me like a person who's exhausted and broke and just trying to make good decisions on the daily. We don't need more data to get this answer. They told us right here. They want honesty about price. They want to be spoken to like adults. They want brands to acknowledge that this is a hard time to be a consumer and meet them there, which I think that is like the key point that I want you to take away from this video. If you want to go deeper on this stuff, the psychology behind consumer behavior, how to translate research into actual brand decisions, all of the fun things that we talked about today, I run a community on Skool where we break this down every week. The link is in the description. I would love for you to come hang out with us and then tell me in the comments which of these 5 hit hardest for you or which one are you still going to argue about, because I would love to hear your thoughts about this. And I know at least one of you is going to fight me on the AI thing and I can just feel it. So that's fine though. I'll see you in the comments. See you in the next video.